You think your dog licks you because it's cute or because they love you? And yes, part of that is true, but the real reason your dog is licking you, especially on your face, hands, and even your feet, is something far more unsettling, far more ancient, and honestly, pretty disgusting. And once you hear the full story behind it, the evolutionary biology, the survival instincts, and the deeply hidden canine motivations, you'll never look at those little kisses the same way again, because dogs don't lick humans for just one reason. They lick for an entire cocktail of primal behaviors that go back tens of thousands of years, long before dogs ever became man's best friend. And some of these instincts, they come from their wolf ancestors who used licking for survival, dominance, manipulation, and even, yes, accessing the taste of blood, sweat, hormones, and dead skin. So before you shrug and say, "Aw, he's just showing affection," let's dig into the truth. And trust me, and some of it is adorable, yes, but some of it is weird, scientific, slightly gross, and undeniably fascinating. Dogs lick because they are tasting you, literally. Your skin is covered with microscopic bacteria, dead cells, dried sweat, hormones, traces of food, and natural oils. To a dog's tongue, which is 10 times more sensitive to taste than ours, you are basically a walking buffet of biological information. They can taste if you're stressed, if you've been sweating, if you've been touching food, if your mood changed, and even if you're sick. Dogs have been proven to detect cancer through smell alone, and licking is just smell plus taste combined. So when your dog licks your hand after you've been outside, they aren't complimenting your hygiene. They're gathering intel. To them, your skin is a data sheet. But beyond the taste testing, here's the part most people don't know. One of the primary ancestral reasons dogs lick humans is because licking was originally a food-seeking behavior. Wolf pups lick the mouths of adult wolves to stimulate regurgitation. In the wild, a pup wasn't fed kibble. It was fed a mouthful of pre-chewed meat straight from the parent's stomach. And what triggers that process? Persistent licking around the mouth and muzzle. That instinct is still inside your dog today. So when your dog licks your face, especially near your mouth, they're reenacting this ancient behavior, a leftover survival reflex. Your dog is literally saying, "Hey, got any food? Anything at all?" That cute kiss you think your dog is giving you used to be a request for half-digested meat. Now let's get a little darker. Dogs lick you because they can smell and taste the salt on your skin. Sweat contains electrolytes that dogs naturally crave. They also sense tiny biochemical changes that happen when you're anxious, scared, or excited. Your sweat composition changes based on your emotional state. And when a dog licks you during those moments, they're not only trying to soothe you, they're reading your chemical mood swings like a living stress detector. But here's the gross part. Dogs are also biologically wired to seek out bodily fluids, tears, sweat, even the remnants of food particles around your mouth or under your fingernails. Your hands, especially after eating or touching your face, become hot spots of flavor and scent. That's why your dog always randomly decides to lick your fingers. It's not random, it's strategic. Still adorable, maybe, but we're not done. Another reason dogs lick you is for dominance and control. Yes, licking can be a submissive gesture, but in many dogs it's actually a display of social manipulation. In wolf packs, lower-ranking wolves lick higher-ranking wolves to signal respect, but more interestingly, dominant wolves also lick others as a way of claiming them, marking them, and reinforcing social order. When your dog licks your arm or leg repeatedly, especially in a rhythmic or persistent way, they may be asserting ownership. "You are my human. This is my scent. I claim this territory." And here's the twist. Your response to licking teaches them how much power they have over you. If you respond with affection every time, Some dogs learn to use licking as a way to get attention, demand interaction, or reinforce your role as their resource provider. But one of the most surprising and frankly stomach-turning reasons your dog licks you is because licking wounds is a natural instinct for them. And they don't necessarily care whether the wound is theirs or yours. Dog saliva contains enzymes that inhibit some bacteria like E. coli and certain streptococci. In the wild, licking wounds helped prevent infection. So when your dog licks your cuts, they're trying to heal you. But here's the disgusting part. Dog mouths carry other bacteria that can be extremely dangerous to humans, including Capnocytophaga canamorsis, which can cause severe infections. So while the instinct behind it is caring, the result can be harmful. Your dog wants to help, but their healing kiss is basically a bacterial minefield. Now let's talk about one of the most embarrassing truths. Dogs lick you because, well, they lick everything. The floor, the couch, the toilet, their own rear ends, and anything with a smell. Dogs are living scent vacuums that explore the world with their mouths. Their licking is not selective, it's opportunistic. If your skin carries scent or taste, and it does 24/7, they want to investigate. Dogs also lick because of boredom, anxiety, stress, and even obsessive-compulsive tendencies. When they lick you repeatedly, they're getting both sensory stimulation and emotional comfort. It releases dopamine, the brain's feel-good chemical. That means, yes, your dog can actually become psychologically addicted to licking. But here's where things get even stranger. Dogs don't just lick for themselves. They lick because they believe you need reassurance. Humans show affection with hugs. Dogs show affection with mouths. If you've ever cried around your dog, you'll notice they lick your face more aggressively. Studies show dogs can detect emotional tears, not just visually, but chemically. Your tears carry hormones like ACTH, associated with stress. Your dog senses something is wrong, and licking is their instinctive way to comfort you. It's the same behavior mother dogs use with puppies. It soothes, warms, and communicates safety. So yes, some licks are loving, deeply loving, but the reason behind that love is rooted in ancient survival instincts. On top of that, dogs lick because they're building a scent map. Licking deposits their scent on you, but also collects yours. Dogs have scent glands in their mouths, cheeks, and even their saliva. When they lick you after you come home from work, they're analyzing where you've been, what you touched, who you interacted with, and what you ate. You are a living diary, and licking is their way of reading you. But wait, we're still not done. One of the most genuinely disgusting reasons dogs lick humans is because dogs are scavengers. In the wild, wolves and wild dogs survive partly by scavenging carcasses and debris. They developed a taste for salt, blood, decomposing tissue, and the microscopic organic matter found on skin. So when your dog obsessively licks your legs right after you shower, they're not admiring your hygiene. They're tasting leftover skin cells, oils, lotions, and the tiny particles the water lifted from your body. Your fresh out of the shower legs are basically a flavor explosion to them. And yes, your dog knows this. You just never thought about it. Some dogs also lick because your skin contains trace amounts of lactic acid. This is especially true on your feet. That's why so many dogs target feet during licking. You think it's a sign of affection, they think it's a salty treat. To a dog, human feet are like little salt licks. Sweaty, smelly, biologically rich. Absolutely irresistible. Gross? Yes, but true. There's also a psychological layer. Dogs learn patterns quickly. If licking you makes you laugh, pet them, or talk to them, they learn that licking equals reward. This creates a conditioning loop. Lick, attention, dopamine, lick again. Over time, licking becomes habitual, even compulsive. Some dogs lick, not because they want affection, but because they've been unintentionally trained to do it. And the more you reinforce it, the more it becomes part of their behavioral vocabulary. You already think you know why your dog licks you, right? It's love, affection. But what if I told you the real reason dogs lick humans is way more instinctive, way more biological, and honestly, way more disgusting than you think? Because what they're doing to your skin, your sweat, and even the tiny microbial layer you don't see might totally change how you feel the next time your dog runs up and gives you a big slobbery kiss. So before you let your dog lick your face again, ask yourself, is this cute, or is this centuries-old animal behavior that your dog simply can't switch off? Dogs evolved licking long before humans ever existed, and in the wolf world, licking isn't affection, it's communication. Young wolves lick adults to say, "I'm hungry, feed me," which in the wild literally causes the adult to regurgitate food. Yes, your dog's instinctive brain is wired to think licking you might get food, attention, or resources out of you. That adorable "aw, he's giving me kisses" moment. In dog language, it's closer to, "Hey, got any snacks?" Whether that's disgusting or charming is up to you, but the science gets even weirder when you realize dogs lick people because of the microscopic layer of salt, proteins, dead skin, and even the bacteria on your body that they can taste. Your skin is basically a flavor experience for them. Dogs also lick because your sweat contains traces of sodium, potassium, and lipids. And if you've just exercised, or if you're even a little stressed, your sweat gets even tastier to them. Dogs are attracted to the scent of cortisol, which is why many dogs lick their owners more when they're anxious. To them, it's the equivalent of sniffing out a change in the environment. And yes, sweat is technically salty water mixed with tiny bits of waste your body's pushing out. So when your dog licks your arm after the gym, you basically just got cleaned like a giant salty popsicle. Dogs lick you because they are trying to communicate in the only way they know how. And if you listen closely, beneath the instinct, beneath the biology, beneath the salt and sweat, and dogs live in the same world as we do, but they experience it through senses that work in ways we cannot even imagine. While we rely mostly on sight, they navigate using a powerful combination of smell, hearing, motion detection, emotional intuition, and an ability to sense things long before we ever notice them. And the result is a reality that feels almost superhuman. Today, we're going to explore 14 incredible things your dog can see, hear, and detect that remain completely hidden from the human senses. Things we walk past every day without noticing, but your dog picks up instantly. Some of these abilities are mind-blowing, some are mysterious, and a few are almost eerie when you understand how deep their senses go. To begin with, one of the most astonishing things your dog can sense is movement so small that it's invisible to you. Humans have great forward-facing vision, but we're terrible at detecting tiny motion. A dog, on the other hand, can pick up the faint flutter of an insect wing from across the room or the subtle shift of a leaf in the wind long before you even register something changed. Their retina contains far more rods than cones, meaning they're built for motion detection over color accuracy. So when your dog suddenly stares at a corner, looking intensely at what appears to be nothing, chances are they're detecting tiny motion that your eyes simply can't pick up. Another thing dogs can see that humans can't is ultraviolet light. We process the world in 3 main color channels: red, green, and blue. Dogs see fewer colors, but their eyes have an extra sensitivity to UV wavelengths. This allows them to see things like urine trails, residue on objects, pollen on plants, and even subtle markings on the ground. What looks like a normal sidewalk to you could look like a glowing map to a dog full of information about other animals, scents, territory, and behavior. It's like living with a built-in blacklight vision system, and because of this UV sensitivity, your dog may react to things you can't even see exist. Dogs also have night vision far superior to ours. They have a reflective layer behind the retina called the tapetum lucidum, the same thing that makes their eyes glow in the dark when light hits them. This boosts their ability to see in low light conditions. While a human might see only darkness in a backyard at night, your dog sees outlines, shapes, movement, and shadows. It's not super crisp vision, but it's enough to detect animals, people, or distant motion. This is one reason why dogs bark at things outside at night. They're not reacting to nothing. They're reacting to something you simply can't see. Your dog also hears frequencies that are way beyond human capability. Humans can hear up to around 20,000 hertz. Dogs, they can hear up to 65,000 hertz or more. That means they can pick up high-frequency sounds from electronics, metal friction, tiny animals, distant barks, and even vibrations from insects on walls. When your dog suddenly jerks its head to the side, seemingly alert for no reason, it might be responding to a high-frequency noise from an appliance or device you don't hear at all. They can hear the squeak of a toy before it squeaks. They can hear storms before they form. And they can hear the footsteps of someone approaching your door before the person even reaches your porch. Dogs can also detect emotional tones in human voices that we're unaware of ourselves. Because they have a highly attuned sense of sound and an instinct for reading emotional energy, they pick up subtle shifts in pitch, breathing, and stress levels instantly. If your voice tightens even slightly when you're anxious or frustrated, your dog hears it. They can sense sadness, anger, fear, and excitement before you even consciously feel them. It's not just training, it's instinctual emotional radar built into their hearing and perception. One of the most incredible abilities dogs have is detecting changes in barometric pressure long before humans do. Dogs know a storm is coming well before you check the forecast. Their bodies feel the shift in atmospheric pressure, and their super sensitive hearing picks up distant thunder well before it reaches your range. That's why anxious dogs may start pacing, whining, or hiding long before the storm hits. They're reacting to real sensory input and not guessing, not predicting, but feeling the environment change in real time. Another extraordinary thing your dog can sense is earthquakes. Dogs can detect seismic vibrations long before humans can, sometimes even minutes before the first tremor. Their paws feel subtle shifts in the ground we cannot detect. Their hearing picks up micro vibrations from the Earth's crust. Many stories from around the world describe dogs becoming restless, barking, or fleeing moments before major earthquakes strike. This ability isn't supernatural, so it's biological sensitivity far beyond our own. Your dog can also sense illness in humans. Studies show that dogs can smell hormonal changes, inflammatory responses, and chemical compounds released by cancerous tumors. They can detect diabetes, seizures, migraines, infections, and even changes in blood sugar. Some medical alert dogs can sense a seizure 15 minutes before it happens. To us, illness is invisible. To a dog, disease has a scent. They perceive biochemical changes long before they become visible symptoms. Dogs can pick up on pregnancy as well. Before a woman realizes she's pregnant, a dog may sense shifts in hormones through scent alone. They often become more protective, clingy, or observant. Some dogs will follow their owners more closely, sleep near them, or rest their heads on their stomachs. This comes from their sense of smell reading hormonal changes that humans cannot detect. It's like having a biological early warning system living right in your home. Here's something even stranger. Dogs can detect electrical fields, magnetic orientations, and even the Earth's magnetic field. Research suggests that dogs align themselves north-south when urinating, indicating they have a sensitivity to magnetic directions similar to birds and other migrating animals. This ability might help them navigate distances, return home, or move through familiar routes without getting lost. You might think your dog is wandering randomly, but they're actually navigating using senses humans simply don't possess. Dogs can also smell time. It sounds strange, but smell particles in a house change over the course of a day. The scent signature left behind by a person grows weaker as more hours pass. Dogs can detect how long ago someone was present. That's why they often wait by the window or door around the same time every day. They sense the fading strength of your scent and know you're due home soon. To them, time has a smell, and their internal clock runs not on numbers, but on scent decay. There's something incredible about how dogs perceive time. Something completely different from humans. We think of time in minutes and hours, but dogs actually smell the passage of time. As the day goes on, the scent intensity in your home changes. Your smell fades from the air the longer you're gone. Your dog can track that fading scent like a clock. That's how many dogs know exactly when you're coming home from work every day, even without hearing the car or footsteps. They can sense how long you've been gone simply by gauging the strength and direction of your scent trails. To dogs, time isn't a number. It's an aroma that grows weaker and stronger with the rhythm of daily life. Another incredible thing is that dogs can detect subtle changes in human muscle tension and body movement that we never perceive. Their eyes pick up micro movements, small twitches, posture changes, and shifts in weight distribution. This ability allows them to predict when someone is about to stand, sit, run, open a door, or reach for an object. Service dogs use this skill to anticipate medical events, emotional responses, or physical movements. Even untrained dogs instinctively read your body language with a resolution far beyond human ability. Dogs can also sense fear in a very literal way. When a person is afraid, their body releases chemicals like adrenaline and changes their scent profile. Dogs detect this instantly. They don't just sense fear as a concept, they smell it, hear it in breathing patterns, see it in micro movements, and feel it in your energy. And depending on the dog's personality and training, they may respond with protectiveness, alertness, or anxiety of their own. Finally, one of the most mysterious things dogs can sense is death, or the approach of death. They can detect biochemical changes in the body as it shuts down, as well as hormonal shifts, scent changes, and energy levels. They often stay close, become calmer, or act protective around someone who is nearing the end of life. Hospice dogs have been known to sit beside patients hours before they pass, guided by a sense humans do not fully understand. While it may seem supernatural, it's deeply biological. Their senses register changes we cannot see, hear, or smell. Here are a few more incredible things your dog can do that humans simply can't. For example, scientists recently discovered that dogs can actually sense the Earth's magnetic field. Yes, like a built-in natural compass. While studying hundreds of dogs in open fields, researchers noticed something bizarre. Whenever dogs had to decide which direction to move, whether they were exploring, walking, or even relieving themselves, they almost always aligned their bodies north-south, not east-west, not random. Specifically, north-south. That means your dog is literally using the planet's magnetic field to orient itself. This is one reason dogs can find their way home from unfamiliar places or navigate forests without getting confused. It's like they're carrying an invisible GPS inside their brain, something humans completely lack. And speaking of abilities humans don't have, here's another mind blower. Dogs can actually tell the difference between human languages. Scientists placed dogs in an MRI scanner and played recordings of people speaking different languages. The results were shocking. The dogs' brains reacted differently depending on the language being spoken. They don't understand the meaning, of course, but they pick up the rhythm, the tone, the vowel patterns, the pacing, and even the emotional texture of the language. So if you speak English at home and your neighbor speaks Hindi, your dog can tell exactly who is speaking based purely on the sound patterns. This is also how your dog can immediately recognize your voice in a crowd, even if you're far away or speaking softly. The brain of a dog is tuned into human speech in a way that's deeper than we ever imagined. Now, here's the one that really makes you appreciate how extraordinary dogs are. They can sense illness in humans even before symptoms appear. We already know dogs can detect certain cancers, low blood sugar, and seizures. But recent studies show something even crazier. Dogs can smell the chemical changes that happen in the body before a disease becomes visible. Your metabolism shifts, your cells release different volatile compounds, and your dog can smell that long before a doctor could ever diagnose it. That's why Some dogs suddenly start pawing at their owners, sniffing specific areas like the chest or legs, or acting anxious around someone who is about to get sick. In many cases, the dog is literally detecting the earliest biological signals of disease. They can smell infection, inflammation, and even small metabolic changes you would never notice. And their sensitivity doesn't stop there. Dogs experience emotional vibrations in ways humans can't. Remember this, they're not imagining things. They are reacting to a world full of signals, vibrations, scents, frequencies, and visual markers that remain completely invisible to humans.
Dogs are often described addicted to confusing, inconsistent rules is something they never truly let go of. Another unforgivable wound is when a part of them always remembers the abandonment. And let's not overlook constant shouting and emotional volatility. Dogs are extremely sensitive to tone and energy. A home filled with shouting affection. A dog left alone all day may have a basket full of toys, but without your companionship, they feel lonely and abandoned. For them, quality time isn't a luxury, it's their lifeblood. And when it's missing, they feel betrayed in a way they never truly recover from. You can give them every gift money can buy, but they'll never forgive the feeling of being emotionally invisible. And then there's the cruelty of impatience. Dogs learn at their own pace. Some pick up commands quickly, others take longer. Some struggle with house training, others with walking on a leash. When humans lose patience, shout, or punish them for not learning fast enough, dogs don't.
You ever catch your dog just staring at you, not blinking, not moving, just locked on like you're hiding the secret to life itself? And the strange part? That stare isn't what you think it is. Most of us assume it's all about food. You're holding a sandwich, your dog sits 2 feet away, eyes locked like heat-seeking missiles, and you think, yeah, okay, they just want a bite. But staring is way more than begging. That look is a language, one that goes back thousands of years, hardwired into dogs because it works so well on us. It's communication, it's connection, and sometimes it's pure manipulation. Think about it. Wolves, the ancestors of our pet dogs, didn't exactly have the warmest feelings about staring. In the wild, a long, unbroken stare is aggressive. It's a challenge, the kind of thing that starts fights. So how did we go from "don't look me in the eye unless you want trouble" to "my dog staring at me while I eat chips is the cutest thing ever"? Evolution? Somewhere along the way, certain wolves figured out that locking eyes with humans didn't spark fights. It sparked rewards. Humans tossed food, offered safety, and over generations, those friendlier wolves became dogs. Their stare flipped from a threat into a trust signal. And here's where it gets even more fascinating. Modern studies show that when your dog stares at you, both of your bodies release oxytocin, the so-called love hormone. That's the same chemical that strengthens the bond between parents and children. So when your dog's staring you down, it's not just awkward or cute, it's biology. They're hacking your brain chemistry to make you feel closer to them. You think you're just making eye contact with your pet, but really, it's a chemical bonding ritual that neither of you can resist. Dogs are manipulating us, and we love them for it. Of course, not every stare is a hallmark moment of pure love. Sometimes it's just business. That unblinking across-the-room look, that's the canine equivalent of an alarm clock. They're saying, "Hey human, you know what time it is. Walk. Now." Or maybe it's dinner they're waiting for. Or maybe they're waiting for you to drop a crumb. The stare is multi-purpose, a request, a reminder, or even a demand. Training makes this even sharper. Dogs that go through obedience training are taught to focus on their human's face. Sit, stay, heel. All of it comes from watching closely for cues. That's why when you see a working dog or a competition dog, it looks like they're hypnotized by their handler. They've learned that staring equals instruction, and instruction usually equals reward. It's not weird to them, it's just efficient. So if your dog seems like they're just staring, sometimes it's simply them waiting for direction. But here's where things get entertaining. Sometimes your dog stares at you for reasons that are, let's just say, less noble. Ever wake up in the middle of the night and realize your dog's sitting at the foot of the bed just watching you? It's like living with a furry security camera that doesn't blink. In those moments, it's not about food or playtime. They're just observing. Maybe they heard you stir. Maybe you snored funny. Maybe they're just curious. To them, watching you is stimulation. You move, you breathe, you twitch. That's action. And dogs, especially the smart or energetic ones, are fascinated by action, even if it's as boring as you rolling over in bed. And let's not ignore the comedy in it. Owners project all kinds of meaning onto those stares. My dog is judging me. My dog knows I ate the last cookie. My dog thinks I'm a terrible dancer. The truth? Most of the time, your dog has no idea what you're doing. They're just watching, and you're filling in the blanks. But that's part of the bond. It feels like communication even when no words are exchanged. And that's why the stare works so well on us. There's also the guilt factor. Dogs learn very quickly that staring makes us cave. You can tell them no table scraps, but after 10 minutes of that unrelenting gaze, suddenly you're sliding them a fry. They don't even need to whine. They just sit, look, and wait. Patience is their weapon, and we're not built to resist it. It's why those big round eyes are called puppy dog eyes, because the act of staring has literally been shaped by evolution to melt our defenses. And speaking of evolution, here's a fun fact. Dogs developed more expressive faces than wolves, specifically because of us. Over time, they gained extra control over their eyebrow muscles, which lets them raise their brows and make their eyes look bigger, sadder, and more human-like. That expression, the one that makes you think they're silently begging or showing deep emotion, is a biological trick designed to tug at your empathy. When they stare with that look, you're practically hardwired to respond. They didn't just inherit this from wolves. They evolved it because humans kept rewarding the dogs who could pull it off best. So when your dog locks eyes with you, eyebrows slightly raised, looking like they've just read a tragic novel, that's evolution weaponized into cuteness. Still, stares aren't always soft or silly. Context is everything. A dog who stares with relaxed body language, soft eyes, maybe a wagging tail, that's connection. A dog who stares with stiff posture, tense muscles, hard eyes, that can be stress, fear, or even aggression. It's not about the stare alone. It's about the whole body. Dogs don't speak with just one signal. They speak with the whole package. You wouldn't judge a text by just one word, right? Same with dogs. And yet, the truth is, most stares from our pets are benign, even loving. Because unlike wolves, dogs figured out that staring isn't dangerous, it's bonding. They use it not just to ask for things, but to build closeness. When your dog is sprawled out across the living room, staring at you while you scroll on your phone, they're not judging your Instagram habits. They're just keeping that invisible thread of connection alive. Think about the last time your dog stared at you when absolutely nothing was happening. No food in your hand, no leash in sight, no squeaky toy around. Just silence. They're on the floor, eyes locked on you like you're the only thing worth watching in the entire universe. That right there is the purest form of it. It's not begging. It's not demand. It's your dog saying, "I like existing near you. Watching you breathe is enough for me." Sounds dramatic, but that's honestly what's happening. And it's funny, because if a stranger did the same thing, sat in the corner of the room and just stared at you without a word, you'd call the cops. But when it's your dog, you melt. It feels different because you know the intention is different. Dogs don't stare to invade your space. They stare to connect. They stare because, for them, it's the closest thing to talking. Now here's the twist. They don't do it with everyone. Dogs aren't out here handing out soulful stares like business cards. They reserve it for the people they trust. Nervous rescues? They often avoid eye contact at first because it still feels threatening to them. Stray dogs? Same deal. Staring is reserved for inner circle humans. That means if your dog looks into your eyes comfortably, you've earned a place that not everyone gets. In their language, that's the ultimate compliment. But that doesn't mean every stare is some profound moment. It has layers. Sometimes it's the love stare, the one where their body is loose, their tail thumps the floor, and you swear they're smiling. Sometimes it's the "I want something" stare, sharp and expectant, usually when you're near the kitchen. Then there's the training stare, that laser focus that looks almost military, where they're waiting for the next cue. And sometimes it's just the weird, zoning out stare, where your dog looks like they're running Windows 95 in their brain, and you're the only program open. Each stare feels different once you've lived with them long enough. Here's where it gets even more fascinating. Dogs literally evolved to get better at this. Scientists found that dogs develop special eyebrow muscles that wolves don't have. Those muscles let them make expressions that look more human, like raising their brows to make their eyes seem bigger or softer. In other words, puppy dog eyes aren't just cute. They're evolutionary tools. Dogs that could pull off that expression got more attention, more food, and more care from humans, so those traits got passed on. When your dog gives you that stare that makes your heart ache, it's not an accident. It's the result of thousands of years of selective survival. Your dog's face is literally designed to hack your emotions. But context still matters. Staring isn't always positive. If your dog is stiff, their mouth is closed tight, their ears are pinned, and the stare feels hard, that's not affection. That's stress or a warning. Maybe they're guarding something. Maybe they're uncomfortable. That's when the stare isn't about bonding. It's about control. And knowing the difference is important, because not all eye contact means the same thing. It's like reading tone in a text message. The words may be the same, but the vibe changes everything. Still, most of the time, those stares are affectionate. And they're part of what makes dogs different from nearly every other animal we live with. Cats? They don't lock eyes to bond. Horses? Same thing. Too much eye contact is usually tension. Dogs are unique in that they've tied eye contact directly to love, trust, and cooperation. That's why it feels so powerful when your dog stares at you. Because it's not just about the present moment. It's about history. It's about the fact that for thousands of years, our species and theirs have been building this silent dialogue, refining it until now. When one look from them can undo your entire resolve. And the funny part? They know it works. Dogs aren't just staring randomly. They've learned that if they look at you long enough, you'll look back. And once you do, the game is theirs. Whether it's affection, a walk, a treat, or just attention, they've got you. We think we're the ones in control, but half the time, that look is them pushing buttons they know will get a reaction. And we respond because we're wired to. You could call it manipulation, or you could call it genius. Either way, it's effective. Even the weird moments, like when you catch your dog staring at you in the bathroom or while you're eating ice cream, are part of this same code. They don't separate important moments from random ones. To them, your presence is always important. They stare because they like you. They stare because they want something. They stare because they're curious. The reason doesn't matter as much as the fact that they choose to look at you. That's the connection. So the next time you feel those eyes on you, don't dismiss it. That look is layered, intentional, and deeply rooted in the bond you share. Sometimes it's practical, sometimes it's emotional, sometimes it's just goofy, but always, it's communication. Your dog may not have words, but in those stares, they're telling you everything you need to know. I trust you. I'm watching you. You're my world. And maybe that's the real reason the stare feels so powerful. Because in a world where attention is scattered, where even humans struggle to give each other full eye contact anymore, your dog is the one being that will sit down, focus, and make you feel like the center of the universe. No distractions, no hidden agenda, just pure, undiluted attention. So yeah, sometimes it's food, sometimes it's guilt tripping, sometimes it's just them waiting for you to finally get off the couch and grab the leash. But more often than not, it's love. Pure, uncomplicated, wordless love. And honestly, that's a pretty good reason to let them stare as much as they want. If you found yourself picturing your own dog while listening to this, Give it a like, share it with another dog parent, and drop a comment about the funniest or sweetest stare your pup has ever given you. Because if there's one thing we all know, it's that every dog's stare comes with its own story. And usually, it's a story worth telling.